I'm going to share my screen. So that you can see. So there's ways that you can Google Slide themes. So you can either go, I'm sorry, I keep trying to mute everybody and I still get all this echoing. Okay. So you can either get your themes from going on Google Slides, or you can actually get your themes from the websites that I actually shared with you. So I'm going to show you the website that I usually go to, and I put this into the Google Classroom already. So when you go to this website, there's a ton of free templates that you can actually get. So the first thing would be pick which theme you want to use. You can either do search, which searching here, and if you do like education themes, it will bring up a ton of Google themes that are related to education. So right here in this one, it has 24 results for educational themes. So this is one of the ones that I have used. The only thing about when you are using a pre-made template, you really can't change some of the pictures in there. You can change the headings and titles. And if you really want to get rid of the pencils and not have a pencil on your page, you can just make it blank, and I'll show you what I mean. So there's a ton, right? You can look which one would fit your particular day. Maybe you're just doing, you know, I don't know, like a warm up, and you just really need one slide. I mean, it all depends on what it is that you want to show your students, right? So just pick one of them. I'll pick this one here. So when I click on it, right, it's going to say, go to preview and download, right? I know that some of you are more comfortable using PowerPoint as opposed to Google Slides. So the nice thing is that if you are more comfortable using PowerPoint, it does give you the options. So watch what happens. So you either can download it as a Google PowerPoint or a Google Slides theme. And you can, the nice thing is that it allows you to view what they have, so you can decide whether that's the theme that you would like to use for your students on that particular day, right? So I usually use Google Slides because I like to have everything stored in my Google Drive and not having to worry about consistently saving something or making sure something gets lost. So when I click on this, it's going to download it. And if this is the template that I really want to use, then I just say, I'm going to use the template. And then it will basically, as soon as it pops up, it's going to open up a Google slide, your Google Slides app, right? And then it's going to have the name of the slide here. And you're going to want to change this to whatever it is that the file you want to save it to. So I'll just save it as Google Slides Training. Right. So going back to a lot of the things that I had talked about in my first presentation on Google Slides. So here's your toolbar and menu bar, right? And this would be your first page. Are these slides? Yes. These slides are all free. The two websites that I shared with you are actually all free. You don't have to pay for it. If you don't want to go through with the free websites, or you don't want to go to the websites, you can also come here. When you open up Google Slides, click on theme, and then on the right hand side, it will actually show you different themes that Google already has. The only thing is that they don't really give you that many themes or education related themes for your slides. So I always like to make my slides related to education or have like an educational background or something related to school. So that's why I like to go on either one of the two websites that I shared with you so that I can get something other than just a plain Google slide. So it's totally up to you, you know, what you want to do or want to add. Now, usually here, this is where I would name my presentation. This is your presentation title. If you don't want to add a title to your presentation, I usually like to let students know what we'll be doing or what the lesson will be, especially if you're creating slides to then do a screencastify video. So I like to let them know ahead of time what lesson we're going to be learning. And then on the next slide, I will usually like to let them know what their objective, the lesson objective is. So whenever I did Google Slides and I did a screencastify to share with my students, I always let them know what the goal was at the end of the lesson. So after they finished watching the video, their goal was, my goal for them was for them to be able to do a specific objective. So I mean, for the little ones, you might not need to put all of that because they might not understand, but maybe if you let them know in a kid-friendly way or add images to your objective or, you know, something to make it more kid-friendly, then they would have a better understanding, right? For the upper grades, you can actually write more words and they understand better, but sometimes it makes it a little bit more challenging with our little guys because sometimes they don't know what that really means. And even when it's in a kid-friendly way, I remember when I taught kindergarten, it was like some of them were like, okay, they looked at me like they weren't understanding. Even when I tried to explain it in their language, it was hard for them to understand. Especially at the beginning of the year. So here, again, you can change the title. So I'll change the title to Google Slides Training. So let's say I want to make the font a little bit smaller. I would go here. I can just click the number or I can do the minus sign. If I want to make it bigger, I can make it bigger. Now, obviously, to make the box bigger, so the font stays inside of the box, I just press the arrows to make it bigger. And then here, let's say I want this font, you know, in the middle, centered. I would go here to the alignment, and I would click centered, and then it's going to center my text and my words in the middle of the box. I also have options of changing the color of my text. I just click here, the little A, and then I pick whatever color I want. I can even do a letter. Each letter is a different color. You can be as creative as you want with your slides, right? It's totally up to you. I can also change the font when I go here, right? And then I scroll. If there's a particular font that you would like that is not on here, you can actually click more fonts, right? And these are all the possible fonts that you can get with Google Slides. And then if it's not already on here, let's say I like this one here. I clicked it, and then I can go through all of the different other fonts. Maybe I like this one too, especially if you're doing older grades, and maybe this one. So once I pick some of the fonts that are not already in my font, I can just click which ones I want, click OK, and then they are actually added then to my list of fonts. So I would just go here. So let's say I had picked Dancing Script from the ones that I didn't have before, and I want bold. So I would highlight, I need to highlight the text that I want to change the font. And then I'm going to click the font that I want it to be bold, and then it changes it like that. So if I want to add an image to my slide, to my first slide, I can either go here, insert, image, and search the web, right? I don't even have to leave Google Slides or open up another tab to actually even search for images. Let's say I want school bus transparent. So whenever you're looking for an image, always try to put transparent background, because you don't want any of your images to have a background. Because oftentimes when you insert images that don't have a transparent background, sometimes they have a white box behind, and you really don't want to have that, right? So I would put school bus transparent background, right? And all of the images for school buses will come up here. And then maybe you want to insert this one. You click the image that you want to insert. You click insert. And then it's going to show up on your slide. Sometimes it's going to position your picture where you don't want it to be. So you just can drag the picture to where it is. Now, remember when I showed you about cropping, the difference between cropping and resizing. So when the image, if I unclick the image is going to stay the way that it is, right? With this size. Now, let's say I want to resize the image. I click the image once, and then you have the blue box around it. This allows you to resize your image, either make it bigger or make it smaller, right? So it's totally up to you, like if you want to make your images bigger or smaller. Now, let's say I want to crop the image. There's two ways of doing it. I can crop it here by doing clicking the icon, or remember I also told you if you double left click, it'll also do it for you. As long as this is like this, then I can crop the image. And then I would just crop it to where it is that I want it to crop. And then I would hit crop, and it crops the image. Let's say I made a mistake. I could just click undo. And it brings me back to the regular image that I had prior to it. How do you put the image into the background of the text? So for me to bring it to the background, right? So let's say I want the image behind my letters, right? Right now, my image is in front. When I right click my mouse, right, it's going to say order. You're going to go here to order, and then you send it to the back. And now your image is behind your words, like this. For those of you that were able to add the Bitmoji extension onto your Google Slides, I know that a lot of you were having a difficult time with some of the Google Chrome extensions that I had recommended, because it was saying that you were being blocked. I'm not sure if anybody that had that issue actually reached out. I know that Ms. Pereira reached out to ISD. I'm wondering if any of you, Ms. Pereira, were you able to get the Google Chrome extensions? You can unmute yourself.
This is Mrs. Cluffy. I was able to add on the extension. However, even though I added the extension on, when I did that, I wanted to go in and access it. And then when I had to log in to Bitmoji, it was telling me to log in, even though the extension was in my.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. So once it's going to ask you to log in once, right? If you've never logged into it before. So even though you've downloaded the Google Chrome extension, it's still going to ask you to log in. And then once you log in, you'll never have to log in again unless you say that you want to sign out of the Bitmoji.
But when I try to log in, it wasn't accepting it. In other words, I would put where it says login, aren't you supposed to put your NPS login when you go in?
Well, it all depends on how you set up your account. So if you set it up with your personal email, then you need to put in your personal email.
Because I had difficulty. That was one of the emails I was going to send you as far as the Bitmoji, because I was playing with it to look at it, because I was thinking of my digital classroom as far as Google and wanting to use some of the Bitmojis on there, and I did have difficulty. So I guess when I have a chance, I'll email you again, unless you'll address it later, because I tried to go in and I had some difficulty. I hear what you're saying. I'll try again with my personal email. I did it with the NPS, but I was having difficulty.
So when you set up your account, which email did you use?
I have to look. I thought it was NPS when I originally did it.
Okay.
And it's saying no. So I have to go back and try my other account. That was my personal account.
Okay, try it, and if not, send me an email.
I will. Thank you so much.
No problem. So let's say, so going back here, if I wanted to add a Bitmoji, did you share your email with us? I have questions. So I have the email that I'm using for all the workshops. I have shared it with everyone, but I will share it again in the chat in a few seconds. So if I wanted to add a Bitmoji to my Google slide, I would click. So once you log into Bitmoji, I'll never have to log in again. It automatically stays signed in. So I click the Bitmoji. Let's say I want to add this one. I right click, I copy the image, and then I right click again and click paste. And then it goes on here. So you can play around with what it is that you want to add to your Google Slides, right? So I can add different things to my Google slide, but the first one I usually like to just make it very simple. I mean, if I really wanted to animate my Bitmoji to make it, you know, appear on the screen, I would click animate. And then here, I want to pick what it is that I want the object to do. So I can say fly in from the bottom. Now I don't on click. I can say after previous, with previous. I usually like to say on click. I can change how fast or how slow I want it to come up from the bottom here. And then I don't want to apply it to every slide. I just want it to, that's why it says object animation. So it's only going to animate a specific slide, okay? And then I can, here, when I click down, I can pick for it to dissolve, slide from the right, slide from the left. It's totally up to you how you want to animate it. And then you can click to apply to all slides if you want it to apply to every slide, but I don't want it to apply to every slide. So I'm not going to click that. And then I can press play to see what it would look like. And then in order for it to, and then comes my Bitmoji. Did you see that? I'll just do it again. So it'll come in from the left. And then when I press click it, because I said to click for the object to come up, the object will come up. That's if you want to add animation or motion to your Google slide. You don't have to. It's totally a choice that you have, right? When you select Google Slides that are already pre-made for you, they're going to be pre-made. You can edit any of this that you want. So usually I like to just keep the font that is already there as the title. If I wanted this to be a different layout, right, I can go leave it like this. I can delete everything, sorry, I would just drag over my mouse over what I want to delete and then click the delete button. I can come here to the layout, right? And you can pick different layouts that you want. You can get another title page. You can get a title with 3 columns. You can just do a big image or a caption or a blank slide, right? It all depends on how it is that you want to, present the work to your students. So here, this one has a title and a place for you to add your text. So again, I would add the text, adding images. I can change it, right? The color to whatever it is that I want. Now, those of you that downloaded the Emoji Keyboard, so like I have here, I can add different emojis to my titles. So I'll show you again where I go. I go to my Emoji Keyboard extension, and then I can either search for images. I have some here, so I'll just pick these books. It's going to copy it. I'm going to come out of there. I'm going to click my cursor to go next to where I want to insert the emoji, and then I'm going to either right click to paste it, or I can do Control V, which is the shortcut to paste my image on there. So you can add little emojis next to your headings if you would like. And then here, this is where you would add your text to let the students know. You have options here of changing or adding. Let's say you want numbers, you can add numbers. So if I say book, and then it'll add car, I'm just giving you examples, right? Or you can also add bullets, change it. You can pick these bullets. If I want to change it to bullets instead of numbers, you would just go there. Okay. And then here's what your slide would look like. So background, you can change to your background to be something dark if you wanted to. You can change it so that it's not this here, the books. You can change that in the background. Let's say you wanted, when I went over how to do an image as a background, when I showed you how to change the PDF to Google Slides, that would be here. Okay, Gustavo, I'm sorry that I'm going too fast. What is it that you need me, just let me know. What is it that you need me to go over? You can unmute yourself, just let me know. Yes, the emojis can be bullets. So let me show you how I would do that. So let me erase this. Sorry. So let's say I want to add an emoji as a bullet. I have to click the Emoji Chrome extension so it can pop up. Everybody saw how I got that, right? Now you have to pick which one you want to use as a bullet. So if you want to use an apple, I click my apple. Then I'm going to come here to my text box so that it closes out the window. I either right click to paste it, or I can do Control V and it'll paste it again. There's 2 ways of you pasting an object. So those are 2 ways of adding the emojis as bullets. So Gustavo, is there something, I don't want you to be lost. So what in particular would you like me to go over again? you can unmute yourself if you need to ask a question. Okay. So that's basically what I would do to add or to use.
Did you say Control V?
Yeah, Control V.
V, okay.
To paste. When you copy is Control C to copy something. So let's say I stopped using a specific object. You can go over it, right? I can do this, you know, highlight my object. I do Control C is the shortcut to copy anything. And then I would do Control V to paste it. Okay. Let's say if you want to add another image from your computer, you can come here, or you can search the web, right? So the other thing that I want to show you is how to hyperlink things to your words. So let's say you are telling the students to go somewhere, right? To do a specific task. Please go to Boom Learning to complete activity. Okay. So I have typed this in the directions for the students. And I want them to go, let me erase this here. And I want them to go to Boom Learning to complete the activity that I have assigned to them to complete. So the first thing I would need to do is open up another tab. We need to go to Boom Learning. Okay. I'm going to copy now the link. You can either right click to copy. I just like to use Control C because it's a lot quicker. I'm going to go back now to my slides. The next thing I have to do is I'm going to highlight the words that I want to link. So I want to link Boom Learning. I'm going to click Insert Link. And this little thing is going to come up here. I can either right click to paste it, or if you see, the shortcut is right next to it, Control V. You can either do either or. And then I click that. And then I'm going to click Apply. And then if I want to change this color, I can come here and let's say I want to make it green. I can make it green. But if the students are going to, once they get onto your presentation, they can just click the link and it takes them right to the page. So this is better than you sitting there and writing the whole website. It's nice. Once you get the kids used to doing it, or let's say you're doing an activity with them and you want to, you're presenting your Google Slides and you're going to be like, all right, now we're going to go play a game together. I'm going to show you how to click. Whenever you see this, that means you can click on it and it's going to take you to the page. So the first time around, you might want to teach students what that means, especially if they're younger, right? But once the kids get used to doing certain things and going on to different websites and clicking certain links, you'll be amazed, you know, they'll get it really quick. And then we would do the website. So that's how you hyperlink something. You can also hyperlink YouTube videos, but like I said, sometimes the district doesn't really allow students to watch certain YouTube videos or access a lot of the YouTube stuff because they screen so many things. So sometimes we have to be mindful of what it is that we're hyperlinking for the students to really see. So I know that Gustavo had asked about the images or inserting images. If I want to insert images, I will show that again. I can make this little text box smaller if I want to by just dragging this here with the arrows, right? I can also, sometimes I like to have my text on one side of my Google Slides and then an image on my right or vice versa. I can just, again, with my arrows, bring this here and it will bring my text to one side of the page. I can also just drag it over to this side if I wanted to. And then if I want to add an image, just give me 1 second, I have a question. So a lot of my attendants, can you mark my attendance when you get the time? All right, Corinne, I'll address your issues with the Google Classroom because it's really important that you're able to log on, but I'll talk to you towards the end of class if you don't mind. So if I'm going to insert an image from the web, I would click here. Let's say I want to add, insert image from web. And I want to change it to a school. What I was saying before is to add transparent background to any image that you research, because then you won't have any background in the back of your pictures, especially if you have a colored slide or presentation theme that is black or blue or any other color. Sometimes images tend to come with a background or a little box, and then it looks kind of weird. You're not really happy with the images. So I would always add transparent background to any of the images that I want to add to my Google Slides so that it makes it a clean presentation and a clean image. So if I just look through my images here that they have, and let's say I want to add these little children here to my presentation, I click the children and I click insert. So my image is transparent. There's no background, right? There's nothing. I can resize it to make it smaller. Okay. Let's say I like the image, but I don't like the fact that there's so much white. I can just double click and I can crop to cut out some of the white. So it's focused more on just the children. And then I would click crop. It's totally up to you how you want to play with your images. If you want to get to the back, like I showed you with the school bus, so that it shows up behind a text, I have to make sure that I click on the image. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to the word order. And then I'm going to say send to the back. And then it's going to bring it behind. If I bring words in front of it, it's going to put it behind my words like that.
Is it possible to change the colors in the images? For example, the little boy is wearing looks like a green shirt. Isn't it possible to maybe change that, let's say, to a blue shirt? Can't you actually change the coloring?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to look for images that you kind of really, like.
Okay.
You can also, like, let's say you want to find images from the web, right? So I can go to the web. I can go here on Google, and let's say I want apples, because you're doing a theme on apples, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to click images here. Okay. And then you can see you have all these apples here.
Okay.
One of the things that I want to show you that's important, if you go here to tools, right, you're going to get all of these options here. This is something very important, especially if you're going to copy and paste your images onto your Google Slides. And I actually go over this in when you were creating your Bitmoji classroom, I also went over this, but I'm going to show you here today. So usage rights, look for, you're going to click on labeled for reuse. So that means anytime that you are going to copy an image, you can actually reuse the image without getting lines or, things that said that you really can't use the image. And then the next thing that you want to focus on is the color of the image. You want it to be transparent. And the reason why you want it to be transparent is so that when you copy the image, it doesn't have a background behind it, that white box. So if I was let's say I want this apple, or maybe I want these apples here, I can right click, copy image. I go back to my slides. Let me go here to this one, and I'm going to right click and paste. And then I can paste my apples here, just like this.
So you would go to tools, you select your image, you go to tools, and then you would select labels for reuse.
Right, so here in this box, it's you would want to click on labeled for reuse, because then that means that you are allowed to use any of these images without needing actual authorization from the people that created them. They're being you're able to use them without having to be worried about it, right?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then here, the color of the image, you would like to have it be transparent so that it has a transparent background. So this is another option of you getting images onto your Google Slides if you can't find any when you do it from the actual Google Slides search. So this is another option. Or if you have actual pictures that you have taken, right, and you've uploaded them onto your computer, let's say you want that. Let me delete this text here. Again, to delete, I'm going to show you. I'm going to drag my mouse over what I want to delete. It's going to create a box, and then I just click delete. It actually deleted all my apples. That mistake.
Suppose you want to create a border, because I know to create borders, but at times the selections to me is limited.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So you can create borders around, let's say I want to create a border around this image, right? I have to click an image. I'm going to click border here. So, sorry. You see this where the lines are? It says border weight. You're going to click on here. And then this is how thick you want it to be. So 24 is the thickest, right? And then here is how you want it to appear. You want it a straight line, you want it to be dotted like that. You want it to be, so you pick, when it's very thick, it looks better when it's like this. And then you can pick a border color.
Oh, okay.
Like this. So let's say you're creating a math activity for your students where you have apples and you want them to count, right? You can have them create little borders around your image so that you can show and that them as an actual box so they can count. So you can do that.
But aren't there default image borders already?
You're talking about Google Docs. That would be a page border.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
But
So,
you can't do that in Google Slides?
no.
Oh, okay.
That's something totally different. So the only borders that you can use are the borders that are here given to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here, if you want to insert a text box too, let's say I had a blank, I want to insert a text box, I would go here, insert text box. Oops. And then I would make my box. I can add text here. Okay. I can also change the background of my box. So let's say I draw a box and I want to change the background of my box. I can do that as well. It's like, it's really up to you. So when you do, there's solid colors, but if you go here to gradient colors, it kind of like leaves like from darker to lighter if you wanted. So if you want like a dark to lighter color in the middle of your text box or your background, then you can do that as well. So that's how I would do that. When you're writing text, okay, and I want spacing between my text. So I'm just gonna write mumbo jumbo, right? And I would highlight my sentences. And let's say I want to do the spacing. I would click here. And I can change it to 1.15, or I can change it to 1.5, or I can do it to double space. Like that. Okay, let me see, I had a question here. So if you want to make it interactive, you just add an empty text box. So say you ask how many red, if you want the students to answer, just leave the text box. Answer when you see, yeah. So if I wanted to make it interactive where I want to make the math slides for my students and I want them to just then answer. So I have this apple here. So let me show you what I mean. So let's say I have this image here and I want to actually duplicate it. Okay, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it. It's going to duplicate my image like this, right? Did everyone see what I did? Wait, let me undo it in case. So I right click, I'm going to copy. It's going to copy the whole thing. I can then just paste it. Control V. I can add a plus sign in here if I wanted to, right? By adding a text box, so I can add a plus sign here. And then I'm gonna have to make this bigger, right? So that they can really see. I'm gonna center it, right? And then I'm going to copy the box because I want to write an equal sign here. So I just change it, have an equal, and then what I can do for them to answer, I would insert a text box here. I'm going to add my border if I want to add the border so that it's similar to this here. I would change it to red, okay? And then here, the students would be able to answer it. And then that's how you would create like a math one. You can even do this for literacy if you're doing like beginning or middle sounds or ending sounds. You would just add a box for the empty sound that you want the kids to try to figure out if you wanted to go that route. So then go ahead.
Can you lock that text? Because a problem I had during this distant learning was that I would create, let's say, a box or image, and the students would somehow, they would delete it, even if accidentally. Or they would just, delete the box or whatever I put this. Is there any way I could prevent them from doing that? Like, let's say I wanted to put the answer in that particular rectangle.
So when you share it with the students, are you sharing it as a viewer or are you sharing it as an editor? You have to be careful as to how you share your slides, because when you share as an editor, that you allow the students to edit, then they would be able to manipulate any of the things that you put on the slide.
Oh, okay.
So if you share it with them as a viewer, they can only view the slides, then they would be only able to view what you have shared with them.
So if you make it, let's say 6 apples plus 5 apples equal, and they change it to they can change it 6 apples plus 2 apples.
They can manipulate it if you give them editor access.
But you'd want them to write their answer to the right of equal signs. That means you'd have to give them editor access.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have not seen where it allows you to actually lock the image. I'm going to research it. Yeah. If somebody knows how to do it,
Yes,
give
to
me a
interrupt.
Go ahead.
If you go to File and you download the image, and then you bring it back as a separate image, then, and you add the text, the student will be able to answer the questions without moving the image. But you have to bring the image back into Google Slide as an image.
Oh, okay. Okay.
May I add to that?
Yes, go ahead.
Not only should it be brought back as an image, but you put it in the background, add it as a background. So this way.
You can add it as a background. Yes. If you put it as a background, then it won't let you move it.
So when you create it, okay, can you show me how to do that, please?
To set it as a background.
Yeah, where they would write their answer or whatever image, yes.
So the images would have to be in your background. So let me leave that there. So if you go here, choose an image, you have to go here, Google search, like apples, transparent background, okay, and look for images that have various apples in there, or you can copy images that have copy the image more than once.
Okay.
But let's say if let's see if I look up 5 apples. Let's see if that comes up. No, doesn't do that. See,
Okay, may I make a suggestion?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You create the Google slide like you did before, with all the stuff that you don't want the student to touch.
Right.
Right? So you have the border with your apples and everything, with the plus and equal and everything. You save it as a picture.
Okay.
Then you upload the picture, the PNG or the JPEG file as into your background.
I understand.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So let's see. Hold on. Let me go undo it, right? So what you're saying is you're going to do file download as a JPEG, right? This current slide,
Yes.
right? So I don't know if I'm going to be able to open because it doesn't allow me to open any pictures on my thing, right? But let me see if it saved it. I'm blocked from downloading any pictures whatsoever. I don't know why, but they don't allow me to do anything with as far as pictures goes. So background here, choose an image, upload. Let's see if it downloaded it on here. So here it goes. And then open. And then it saves it as the background. So it's as the background, and the kids won't be able to manipulate it now.
Right.
Okay.
And that's when you, the teacher, will sit up there and put a text box in there for them to write their number. Make sure the font is big, make sure it's centered and everything.
And then,
Okay.
so
might-
then you can insert the text box. And then make sure that you align it. You can do 1.5 if you want to, however you want to do it. Make sure that it's a bigger number. Let's see, 48, 60. Okay. And then they can write it without manipulating. So that's a way for you to do that. Thanks for sharing, Leslie.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So that's as far as adding like images to make sure that they don't really manipulate it. I never made I worked with the older students, so I never made interactive ones for them. The other thing that is nice too is that sometimes on Teachers Pay Teachers, they have free Google Slides that are interactive that you can always download and upload onto your Google Drive as well. Sometimes, people create them, they're free and you can use them if it's something that you're working on. There was another question here. Can you show how to add videos when you want? Okay, sure. So let me go to another slide. So if I want to insert a video, I can click here. If it's a video that I recorded from myself, from through Screencastify, and it's in my drive, I can click here. But let's say I want to do a YouTube video. That's what it usually will come up. And let's say I want this video on the Magic School Bus. Okay. Maybe I want this episode. I've looked at the episode. This is something that I would like. And then I would put it on here. Okay. I can make it smaller or bigger. It's totally up to you. And then if you want to add directions for the students, then you can just click the text box to insert a text box like that and write the directions. Please watch the video. Okay. If you want to make the font bigger, you would have to highlight the font and go here to the font size. That.
Now I have a question. If for some reason the student cannot watch the video on YouTube, can it be taped? Can the teacher tape it onto Screencastify and they can watch it on Screencastify?
I'm actually going to show you how to do that with Screencastify and Edpuzzle. So that's for tomorrow's workshop.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'll answer. So I'm actually going to teach you how to do that tomorrow with Edpuzzle and Screencastify. So I'll go over that tomorrow. So for those of you, again, you can, let's say there's a point in your slide where you would want the students to watch a YouTube video, but we know that YouTube doesn't really allow us. You can say, please watch the video that I have attached in Edpuzzle, right? So I would then put Edpuzzle here. Let's say I want to tell them, watch the video in Edpuzzle, right? I'm going to hyperlink where I want them to go. I would highlight the word, click the hyperlink. I need to go here, open another tab to get Edpuzzle, right? I already have an account, so I would copy or I would paste it and I would apply. And then they would just click the link and it would take them to the video. but I'm actually going to go into depth about going around the YouTube, not being able to access YouTube. So you can actually do something with Screencastify and Edpuzzle. And then that's how you would add the video. So you can actually play the video, right? Let's say I wouldn't play the video here on my Google Slides, but I can play the video onto another option could be I would play the video in a separate tab and Screencastify it so that you can actually record the actual video, and then that's another way of sharing the video without using YouTube, because all the students can watch a Screencastify because it's linked to your Google Drive. So if I wanted to do that, I don't want to press Screencastify now to record a video because I'm actually recording a video, but I would go to YouTube, right? And let's say I want to do this, Pete the cat, the cool caterpillar. I'm going to click on here. It's a read aloud, right? Nice. And then I would make sure that I click the Screencastify so that it records. I can make this bigger, right? It's totally up to you. And then it would record the actual page, and then you can actually, you know, share it with the students. Now, the nice thing about it is because I have downloaded the Edpuzzle Chrome extension, I can now just click here. Do you see how it says edit with Edpuzzle? I can just click it and it automatically takes the video to Edpuzzle. And that's how I could share it with the students as well. But I'm going to go over that tomorrow because there's a lot of steps that you need to do in order to do that. So today I just really want to focus on having people comfortable doing the Google Slides, or being comfortable sharing their slides. So with themes, whenever you pick your themes, you're welcome. So whenever you pick your themes, you see that it gives you a ton of slides here, right? That you might not even need all of them. I can just right click on the slide that I don't want and then scroll all the way down to the end of the slides that I want to delete, right? I want from 10, I need to hold the shift, I need to press the shift button before I click this last slide. So I shift and then click, and it automatically highlights all the slides in between. And let's say those are the slides I don't need. I'm just gonna click delete, and it'll delete all the slides. So now I only have 9. Do you see that? Okay. Is there anything like specific that you want me to like do? Oh, the other thing is, let's say I wanted to duplicate a slide, right? So let me go back to this slide here. And I wanted to duplicate it. Then I can just click on the slide, right? That I want to duplicate. Click on the word slide. And you see how it says here to duplicate. I click duplicate and it actually duplicates the slide exactly how it is. Okay, let me just see. I have another question. Okay, does Google Classroom have the same features as Google Slides? No, Google Classroom is a platform, and Google Slides is another platform. I would really recommend you looking at my presentation on Google Classroom and seeing the different features that you can use and do with Google Classroom. So Google Slides is something totally different than Google Classroom. Let's see. The other thing what else? Oh, so let's say I have created my slides and I don't like the order in which they are, and I want to put them in a different order. I can easily drag the slide up or down to where I want the slide to be. So when you're creating your slides or your lessons for your students, just create, and then if you need to move things around, you can always move it down, up, wherever it is that you need it or you feel that it would work best. You can, once you've created this, right, you can do file and download if you want to download it as a PDF or as a Microsoft PowerPoint, okay? It's totally up to you if you want to. You can, if I want to make a copy of this slide, of this whole presentation or of a selected slide, you can actually click here, right? If I want to do a whole presentation, a whole copy of it, I would click here, and it's going to say, have a pop-up window where you will be asked to rename the actual document. If you wanted to name it as Google Slides Training Part 2, I would rename it. And then it's going to open up another window. And if you see, it's exactly the same slides that I had with my first presentation. That's if you are creating slides that have similar things. All you would have to go is change, let's say you are doing spelling, right? If you do spelling in Google Slides and you're doing activities, so let's say you give the students the words on one side of your column, and then on the second column, you want to say, put these words in ABC order, right? So let's say for the whole week, first day you're going to do ABC order, the second day you're going to do sentences. You can copy the whole presentation, and like that, all you would have to do is change the words because you basically want to use the same format. Yes, Google Slides is similar to PowerPoint, except with Google Slides, you don't have to really worry about saving. So I went into detail when I did my Google Slides presentation about what was the benefits of doing Google Slides over PowerPoint. Sometimes it's just a preference, whether you like Google Slides or not. PowerPoint might have more features to it. I really have stuck to just using Google Slides because I like to have everything in my Google Drive.
When would you suggest using Google Docs versus using Google Slides? Because last year I keep saying last year, this, March through June, I used only Google Docs because I knew nothing about Google Slides.
Well, with Google Docs, it's like, I feel like you can't really lock things. It depends on the age group. I feel like with Google Slides, you can find things that are more interactive. And sometimes like they're already really created for you on Teachers Pay Teachers, and you can just download. Like I can show you what I mean about Teachers Pay Teachers, because the majority of the teachers that create stuff for other teachers or to sell, the majority of them are using Google Slides to share their stuff, right? So if I go on Teachers Pay Teachers and I look for free or interactive Google Slides, right? So a lot of the times it's going to show you stuff that you have to pay for. We go down to free. And then some of the things are already, you can see, let's say you're doing measuring. So here is an interactive. They have a lot of the people on Teachers Pay Teachers now have created a lot of their stuff as digital, because most likely a lot of the things will have to be digital. So I would click on the file, and if you see, it will ask me, because it's digital, it'll say add to your Google Drive. And add it to my drive. Okay. And then it's going to make a copy of it onto my Google Drive. And then I'll go here, and it's going to up the thing that was already created for me. So sometimes, it's nice to look for things that were already created and get ideas of how to create your own, right? So this is all set as a background, and then they added a text box so that you can come here and actually write. And then it's already done for you. So sometimes you can find free interactive Google Slides that you can share with your students.
So you didn't have to go to Google Drive and then
Nope.
Add it to Google Slides. Okay.
No, it'll automatically, once you download, it'll automatically open up
Into Google Slide.
Mhm. So that's how you can, do. Let's say I only want to share, the first four slides with my students, right? I make a copy of this, right? Copy of select slides, right? So I have to select first. Okay, I have to select the slides that I want, file, make a copy, selected slides, measuring, I rename my file, click OK. And now you see I only have 4 slides to share with my students. So you have that opportunity to cut something that you find online. And let's say you want to add your own, you can come here to your last slide and then do slide and then new slide. And you can add to something that you found if you want to do that too. So that's just another option. Sometimes there's a lot of cute free stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers that you can use or get ideas from in order to create your Google Slides. Does anyone have another question that I haven't answered?
What if I want the background of frame that they're using? Is there a master to the Google Slides? Like a view master, a master slide? You think?
From something that I purchased from somebody else?
No. If you would click on view, can you click on view at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right there where it says master.
Master. So
okay, I see that they didn't use the background. I'm just wondering where they got the background from, and therefore, if you wanted to create a 5th slide,
right,
with the same similar.
It doesn't seem like they created it as their background.
Right, but they didn't set it up like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It depends. A lot of the times they, put their things in a certain ways because they don't want other people using their products without purchasing it. So, that's how they try to make, because it's a free document anyway, but for those that sometimes that we use to purchase, whenever you purchase some Teachers Pay Teachers too, you can use it as part of your discretionary funds. They do allow you to use that if you want. So if you have,
but if you want to change that image, like that shark there, you could or could not do that.
I can try. It won't let me.
Okay, so it all depends. Okay.
Yeah, it won't let me. There's certain things that when you download, they lock the image. I don't know how they, so like here, the rulers you can manipulate. But then there's certain images that they don't allow you. They won't
But you-
allow me to.
But if you want to add an image to the page, that you can always do, correct?
That I can do, yeah.
Okay.
I can insert an image.
Okay.
What would you like me to insert?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
ball. Okay, let's see. Maybe I want to insert a soccer ball. It should allow me to insert it, yeah.
Okay.
So I can always add, I just really can't change if I purchase something. But sometimes it's nice for us to get ideas, make our own presentation. So sometimes we see something and, you know, we learn from other teachers, you know, oh, that's a great idea. I can try to recreate it on my own. So sometimes just looking at other people's work gives you ideas for things that you might want to do or might want to recreate yourself. But I mean, that's pretty much all you really need to know. But what, like, you don't have to save it. If I wanted to share this with my students, I would go to my Google Classroom, right? I would click Google Classroom here. I'm going to click classwork. You are going to do it. I would click assignment and then measuring activity. I always have to title whatever I share with my students. And then I would give them some directions in this area here. And then I click add because it's in my Google Drive. I'm going to click Google Drive. It should be in my recent documents. This is the one I want to share because it only has 4 slides, right? And ask students can view file, students can edit file, or make a copy for each student. Now, I want to make a copy for each student because I want every student to answer this, to do this activity. So I would say make a copy for each student. And then here is where you would assign a due date if you are wanting them to complete it by a certain time. If you want to assign it to only a few students, and you would check off the students you want to assign it to. If you want to assign it to everybody, it defaults to assigning this to everyone. I like to have my Google Classroom with headings, or topics, so I could assign it to a specific topic if I wanted to. And then I would just assign it, or I can schedule this later date.
Question, when you first got it off of Teacher Pay Teachers, and it said, it clicked on go to Google Classroom, it didn't really go to Google Classroom, it just went to your Google Drive, right? The file did not save to your Google Classroom, it really saved to your Google Drive.
A different file, so I can show it to you again. Interactive Google Slides.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'll show you another file. So I can do free, right? I always try to see if I find any free stuff first, because sometimes there's, you know, cute stuff like a little. All right, so this one is going to say download. Actually put it up. So she actually did it as a PDF. Okay. So then it tells you how would click here. Should work. See,
Can't hear you.
it
Yes, you're cutting in and out. I can't hear you. Maybe it's just me.
I can't hear either.
You know, I can't either. No.
Same thing.
It's probably
It-
WebEx.
Nope.
Yeah. Cutting in and out.
Now she's disappearing.
I can't hear you either, Chatala. Did we lose her?
Probably kind of lost back in.
Okay.
Maybe she has to come out of WebEx and come back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I apologize about that. So when I open up,
Can you go back to where you download the activity from Teacher Pay?
I already downloaded it, so it's not
Oh, okay.
like it won't take me back. So once you click download, you will, it took me to that page where I could leave it as a PDF, right? Because if I want to print, or I can click the link. And when I click the Google Slides link, it actually took me to my Google Slides. And here it's going to say it's a copy of it. So when I go on here, I can delete anything that I don't want. And then basically here, it says drag and drop the word. So here, it's already created. They can like literally click the word and then drag it underneath the activity. So sometimes people already created free stuff for us to use, and then we can just, share with our students what we would want them to have. And then we would, when we do it on the Google Classroom, we would say, again, make a copy for every student because you want every student to complete that activity. And I would also change this here to say, whatever it is, you can say and spell. Say and spell. Okay, and then you can delete. If you don't want to delete it from its entirety, let's say you want to keep it like this, right? You can just make another copy of it if you wanted to, of the entire slide. It's it's up to you. But I like to see, like, this is already actually create free fun stuff for you to actually share with the students. And sometimes it actually saves you the work of actually having to do it yourself. So sometimes I like to look for activities that are already created, are free to be able to share with my students. So that's another way of you not having to recreate everything. But let's say there is activities like you want to put up, you're teaching verbs and you want to put up an anchor chart in your Google Slides and talk to the students, do a screencastify of your actual lesson of you teaching from the Google Slides, then you can do it that way too. So those are a couple of options that you have with Google Slides. Is there any other question as far as Google Slides? No? Does everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I went out again.
No, you're okay.
I was worried. But I think Corinne had an issue or a question. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. So Corinne, before we disconnect, is there anything in particular that you have a question on that you missed? Again, this is all you in for me to go over. Let me know.
Sylvia, this is Yolanda. I'm just going to send you an email that just to go over the Bitmojis. As I said, I tried when we're in between, when you were having that issue, to see if I could still do it, and it was still giving me difficult.
Okay, so when I go over the digital classroom and how to create one, I actually go into the Bitmoji. So I do go into how to do your Bitmoji then.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all right.
But I can show you, I don't want to hold everybody up, but I do go over like different stuff you can do with the Bitmoji, but you're having difficulty with actually logging on, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't remember what email address you used?
I went into both. I just checked. I did NPS and then I did my personal, and I don't know why either one isn't. But I loaded Bitmoji in my personal laptop and into the NPS, my laptop for NPS, because I wanted it in both. And I'm noticing when I first go to NPS, it's not recognizing it. It's saying that it's invalid.
All right. So can you share your screen?
Hold on, let me just. No, I don't mind sharing my screen. Hold on one second. Okay, just give me a second. As I'm sharing screen now.
I may have to, okay, go ahead. I had to stop sharing mine. Go ahead.
Okay, put share. I don't know if it's coming up.
Can you try it again? Because I was still sharing my screen.
Okay, here.
So Ms. Pereira was saying that NPS is blocking the Google Chrome extension. Pereira, did I say that they won't allow you to put it on? Is that what it is?
So Sylvia, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, so I did reach out to them and they got right back to me. They are not unblocking it. They said that would just give way too much access to these apps or from the Google store. So they said that the request, I put the request in of all those apps that you provided to us, and they're going to try to get it into my personal email from work. And they said that if anybody else would want it, they would have to call it in. So right now I'm just waiting for them to do it. They haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I have it in my personal computer, and my son created a personal account, and then I'm able to download those apps under my personal account. But it's in my personal computer, not on my school computer, which, you know, that's what I want.
That's weird.
Oh my God, I just have, it seems like multiples are coming up like crazy. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the world, it went from 1 to like 1,000.
Yeah. I think like you shared it like so many times.
Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to unshare.
Yeah, that's weird, Miss Ferrer, because like I was able to do it on mine. So it's weird how they blocked it from computers.
Oh, this is really crazy. This isn't even, it just went from 1 to 1,000.
Are you sure you don't have your video cam on?
No, my camera's off. I just feel like this is going crazy now. I'm just going back.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Yes, any recorded session is in the Google Classroom. Yeah, it keeps.
Like this is going crazy.
Yeah.
Even though look at, I exit out, there's something.
Yeah, there must be something going on.
This is like, this
Yep.
is something wrong here. Let me just log out.
Yeah.
What does ISD stand for?
ISD is our tech support. So that's who we would contact for any.
But if I tried to look it up on the Newark website, I don't know what it stands for, so therefore I wouldn't know how to get the phone number.
I actually shared it last time in our in the Google chat what their email address was. I can share it again.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. As soon as So click on your Bitmoji extension. Yolanda? I don't know. Can she hear? So let's say you want to get something that you have in a Word document and you want to add it to your Google Slides, right? That's what you wanted to know, right? So if I'm going to make sure that I have my document here. So here's my this is a Microsoft Word document that I had, right? And
Yes.
I want to copy the sentence. I'm going to copy it, you know, like put your mouse over the actual words that you want to copy. I like to do the shortcuts because it's easier and quicker. So I do Control C to copy it. And then I'm going to go here to my slide. Maybe I'll do it here on this slide here. I'm going to delete this. Okay. And then I'm going to Control V to paste it onto my slide. And now it's going to paste it into like a really big box. So, you know, you're not able to see it?
No, ma'am.
Give me 1 second. So I'm going to stop sharing and reshare again. See if it works. There must be something going on with WebEx today. Are you seeing the words here or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I'll delete it. I'm gonna delete it. So I deleted it from the slide. I'm gonna put it back on. So when I do Control V, it's gonna put it into an odd shape of a box. I can just manipulate the box so that it becomes the size that I want it to be. And then I can just, if I want to make this bold, I can do bold. I can make the font bigger or smaller. So again, I would just go back to my document here. Do you see the document?
No, you went, no, it's disappeared. I can't see anything.
Yeah, that it's not allowing me. Let me see. I stop sharing and share it again. Do you see the Word document now?
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is my second word that I want the student, word and definition I want the students to learn. I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna Control C to copy. And then, do you see this page now or no?
No.
Okay, it's when I go from one document to another, it doesn't let me, it stops. Now you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So then I control V to paste it onto my slide. And then again, I just need to fix my text box to what it is that I want it to be. Let's say I want this word to have a border on it, right? So that it stays in a box. I can add a border to it so that I can have borders around my box. See that? So that if you're doing vocabulary, your words and definitions can have boxes, you know, like it can be in a box if you want.
Excuse me, Sylvia. Is there a reason why you didn't highlight all of the content in the Word document?
Well, I was just showing her if she only wanted a specific thing from the document.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can highlight the whole, I can actually highlight the whole document if I wanted to. I was just showing if you wanted to do just bits and pieces.
Okay.
But let's say you want to have your content in boxes like this. If I do it all, I can still do it all at once. So you're probably not going to see this because every time I go to the other page, it doesn't allow you to see it. I don't know why. So let's say, let me go to a different slide. Do you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So I copied a couple of words and definitions from my document. So when I do it like that, it comes out like this, right? So if I want to add a border around, see what happens is that it makes the border around the whole text and not just one specific word with its definition. So you see the difference about if you want to have boxes around your text, you see what happens when I only did, when I did the whole document, it's going to put the border around the whole text box as opposed to just one word of the definitions and words. So here if I wanted a text box around each individual word and definition, then I would need to do it individually. But if it doesn't matter to you, like you just want it without anything on it, or you know, you don't want, you don't care that it doesn't have anything around each individual words, then you can just do the whole document all at once.
So how would you move to the next slide? Let's say you have some more words to place on the following slide. You just copy and paste them on the next slide and keep going?
So your slide, the number of slides that you have here are on your left. So let's say you need more slides for more words. You would just click on slide number 8, delete the content that is there, and then you can add your words.
Okay.
So depending on, you know, what you want to add to your slides, but you can copy things from a Word document.
And you can also copy and paste from a previous PowerPoint that you've saved
Yes.
in your
So
document.
if I had a PowerPoint and I want to convert it to a Google slide, I would do File, and then I would hit Open, right? And you would go to Upload, and then you would do Select File from your device, and you would look for the PowerPoint presentation that is in your documents. And then that's how it would convert it to a PowerPoint, your PowerPoint to a Google slide.
Okay. So that would do it automatically then.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So that's how you would do that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions from anybody? I think we pretty much did. Can you show us how to just save 4 slides out of the group? Sure. So I'll go back. So let me go back to sharing my content. All right. Just want to make sure I have the slide open. So I'm going to share my screen. So Ms. Smith, if I only wanted to save, like, let's say I downloaded from Teachers Speak Teachers and I only want to save 5 slides from what that teacher created or from that actual document that I uploaded, if it went directly to my Google Slides or if it was a PowerPoint. So I would click on, first click on the slide that you want to start to save, the first slide you want to save. And then you're going, let's say you only want the first 5, or you want slide number 7, you first have to move it up, right, to the order that you want your slides. So I wanted slide number 7. I also want this slide, and this is the order that I want. So let's say there is 7 slides on there, but you want to actually pick and choose which ones you want. Move the slides around first of the order that you want to put them in, right? Like I just did. And then you go and click the first slide that you want to save. Hold the Shift key down, and then click the slide that you want, the last slide that you want to save, right? And then you're going to say File, make a copy, and then just click on Selected Slides. And then it's going to make a new copy of just slides 1 through 5. Make sure that you have to rename it, or you can save it as copy of Google Slides training. It's up to you, but I always like to rename it into the new name of what it is that I save it as. The other thing, Gustavo just asked me about the timer for a slide, right? So I know I went into that the last time, but let's say I want to add a timer to this specific slide. So remember, you can never do it in present mode until you're ready to present. So when I go to insert a timer for my students, I need a text box, right? And then what I need to always do is make sure you put it in like this. So 2 arrows going that way. Let's say I'm going to give them 10 minutes to complete this activity. I want it to count down, so I need a minus sign, and then I need 2 arrows going to the right. I can add a background here so that the students know I need to change my font color as well to, let's say, white, right? And then you can see it better, right? Now, that's if I want to add a timer to my slide. I don't need to add a background. I can just add the time there without having a background. But then when I hit present, Okay, if you see the timer automatically begins, and then the students know that they have 10 minutes to complete this activity if you're doing a lesson with them. This is especially great if you're doing warm-up activities with the students. It's nice to have the timer option. Now remember that you need to have the Google Chrome extension in order for that to work. So if you're not able to add the Google Chrome extension, then the timer will not work on there. So again, I would just reach out to our ISD department and see if you can get it on there. You can always log on to WebEx from your personal computer to access some of these features in the meantime, if you are not able to do it on your work computer. So, but this is how I would add a timer to my slide. Is there any other questions? Okay.
Sylvia,
Yes.
I have a question. I just purchased a new laptop
Uh-huh.
and I went into WebEx from for the school,
Yes.
from what do you call it? Yes, and it got me to the page that says join a meeting. So I tried to join this morning and I was unable to. It's a screen on the left, it says English and then classic view and sign in. It also asked me to download, and when I did insert the meeting information, it didn't allow me to join the meeting. Am I doing something wrong, or do I actually have to download it first?
No, you don't have to download, but you need to sign it in. You'll need to sign in order to access it.
I did. It asked for my email address.
You have to use your NPS email.
Yes, I did that.
And your password.
nps.ng.u, and then next. Took me to the portal. Password.
And then you would have to, so once you log in, the easiest way to get to
it took me to